What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're going to have a look at the SUGO Medal Exchange, which is going to be coming in the 1st of March, where we have a brand new batch of characters. You can go ahead and use your SUGO medals to purchase. Now remember that there are certain limits as to how many of these you can purchase, so you can't purchase like a bunch of them and then use them for that new limit break system that they had announced, which is kind of shitty. I really would have loved the fact to, just purchase as many as we want, especially last month, the fact that we had Bonnie. But unfortunately, we got shafted. So let's go ahead and talk about the characters you can purchase in this month. And once again, they're continuing the theme of adding special time characters for 100 medals. And this time around, they have this Cavendish and this Sanji. Just FYI, these characters are terrible. The only reason why you should be picking them up, as it's just basically a collection purpose. There's no real value with these two characters, so I would highly advise to just not get them. They're not going to be good for anything basically, but if you want to pick them up, if you've got spare medals, then you can go ahead and do that. Above that though, in the 150 medal tier, we've got V2 Fujitora, who is garbage. Even with the super evolution, he's just terrible. Potentially with this new system, maybe he gets some type of upgrade, but as it stands right now, V2 Fujitora is terrible. But then you got Law. V1 Law is kind of interesting because with his 6+ and his limit break, he gets significant cooldown reduction, and he allows your character's specials to bypass defensive effects. So if you have a damage dealing special that normally doesn't do damage against a barrier or doesn't go through barriers, Law can make your specials do that, especially like health cuts and stuff. But again, normal attacks only and stuff, it's just not really that valuable. It's a very niche kind of thing. I'd say only pick at these characters up if you just don't own them. The 250 medal tier is pretty interesting though. You've got Allman Crew and Luffy Zoro. Allman Crew's pretty cool because they actually are one of the few characters in the game that have a special reverse crewmate effect, as well as reducing special cooldowns of all characters by 2 turns. So anytime you're inflicted with a special reverse, you can use Allman to just deal with that. Another good thing about Allman is that he can have the support of Legend Hody Jones, which attaches to him, and anytime you're inflicted with special reverse, you reduce the cooldowns of your powerhouse characters. I think it's by 2 turns. It might be 1, but I think it's 2 turns. So you can have like Hody plus Allman Crew on a powerhouse team. Is crazy the amount of cooldown reduction you can get if you have to deal with special reverse. So Allman Crew is a little bit niche, but not terrible because of that cooldown reduction, and if you're below 30%, you get a 2.5 times attack boost to your whole team. Pretty cool. And you got Luffy Zoro. Now, Luffy Zoro, I'd say, is probably worth picking up if you don't have some of the new characters that just came out, namely V2 Odin, Kinemon Denjiro. Luffy Zoro is going to be kind of like a pseudo replacement for those type of characters. I mean, he's an orb booster, he's a chain locker. Captain ability is definitely on the weaker end, but has a really good switch effect as well. Unfortunately, not that good in PvP. Would have been awesome if he was, but unfortunately not. None of the characters we've talked about thus far are actually that good in PvP. But then we have the top of the list. The top of the list is the cream of the crop. Now, interestingly enough, for some reason, they've listed Jack as a 400 medal character, which is pretty bizarre considering he's actually older than the 250 medal characters. So I think this might be one of the first times we've seen them actually value a character higher than what they really should be placed. As I said, they should be probably in the 250 medal tier. Very strange that he's in the 400 medals. But for those of you who don't have Jack, he's so good because not only does he allow you to get the additional EXP if you are focused on leveling up your pirate level, but the good thing about Jack is that he's exceptional in Pirate Rumble, especially when you have his super evolution. You can pick up his skulls via the Kizuna exchange. And dude, in PvP, he's one of the best defensive style units in the game. Yes, he runs really well on a strength team because he himself is a strength unit, but all of the effects of Jack are actually for rainbow characters. So you can run a rainbow style team, you can chuck him on there. Jack is going to be a very valuable character to own. So I would think if you don't have Jack and you are definitely looking into PvP and you have some of the other really powerful strength units like PvP Rare Recruit Arlong, PvP Rare Recruit Law, if you've got Legend Kuma, if you've got Toki, if you've got Final Tap Kid, if you have like all of those units, having Jack is going to be a great addition just for adding defense and also health cutting the enemy. Really valuable for that. But I mean, again, Jack isn't going to be the character you always are going to go for. Personally, I've got Pirate level 1000, and the thing about it is I never use Jack anymore in regular content. Yes, I use him in PvP, but outside of that, in actual content, I don't really care about Pirate level anymore. But if you are looking to level up your Pirate level, then Jack is definitely going to be worth it. Right beside him, we've got the Sweet Commanders. Sweet Commanders are an interesting one. I think probably the most valuable thing about Sweet Commanders is their support effect, which attaches to Lin and I think Perospero as well. And anytime you're inflicted with Despair or Special Bind, reduce 2 turns of it on the whole team. And that's really crazy, especially the Special Bind thing, because there aren't many crewmate effects, or support effects should I say, that reduce the entire team's Special Bind. There's only like 2 I can think of off the top of my head, and this is one of them. So I think just due to the support, if you have the applicable medals, probably worth picking up. In regular content, definitely usable though. A strength super type character focused on boosting strength characters, and you can definitely hybrid him up with some pretty good characters, obviously, like 6+ Odin. Douglas Bullet still has uses. So, you know, I think Sweet Commanders are fine. Their special ability is definitely weak. Also kind of usable in Pirate Rumble, but not the best. Probably the weakest of these ones to be picking up, honestly. And beside that, we have Moria. Now, I think Moria might be one of the most underrated characters in the game. You know, powerhouse and driven boosting captain, great special ability, super type special is pretty good. The support effect is also really solid too. In PvP, absolutely phenomenal. One of the best defensive style units in the game. Halving enemy stats is just so annoying to deal with. And of course, if you are running an int-based team, Moria is more likely than not going to be on it. So I think Moria is a pretty valid pick if you have a really good int team in PvP, and if you are looking for a really powerful, driven, or powerhouse captain, Moria is a solid pick. But again, you have to look at the rest of the list here. And then right beside Moria is probably one of the best characters that they've ever had in the Medal Exchange, and that's Whitebeard versus Shanks. That is crazy. When I saw that, I just couldn't believe it. Whitebeard v Shanks. If you don't have them, you should definitely pick them up. They are probably one of the most underrated captains in the game. They hybrid very well with a lot of units, and they just help a lot of teams, because if you have this character, you get a Whitebeard unit, and we also get a Shanks unit as well. One boosting Psi-Int Striker, and the other one Psi-Int Slasher. So you got so many characters being boosted by that, both of which have amazing special abilities as well that are just top tier, and obviously the versus effect with Shanks allowing you to get defense down conditional for multiple turns, and Whitebeard giving huge damage reduction and a health cut as well. Whitebeard v Shanks is one of the best units they've had in the Medal Exchange, and I think easily is a character you guys should be picking up. Once again, you can be building a very good int team with that unit with Whitebeard, and you can also have Moria alongside that, or you can be building a really good side team with Shanks. I'm not a big fan of Shanks in PvP. I think Whitebeard's really good because his CT is incredibly low. But for Shanks, not the biggest fan of him, but he's fine, definitely acceptable, and very good on a defensive style team for your side team. So just all in all, we have to look at this, right? I think that the first 2 tiers, 100, 150, they're not that good. 250 metal tier, it's okay, a little bit situational. Definitely stick to the 400 metal tier this time. If you want pirate level, and if you want a really good strength PvP unit, Jack is going to be your guy. If you need a Despair and a special bind removing support, you want Sweet Commanders. If you want a really good driven and powerhouse unit, and a really powerful special, and is relatively good defensively in PvP, go with Moria. And if you want probably one of the best units in the Medal Exchange that they've revealed so far, go ahead and get Whitebeard v Shanks. I think there isn't really a wrong choice in the 400 metal tier. It really comes down to what characters you're ultimately missing. But all that being said, that is going to conclude this video today. Thank you very much for watching, and if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.